The only Tri-Cities news team taking action for you. KEPR Action News.
Well, good evening. Thank you for tuning in to KEPR Action News. We start tonight with a topic that's the talk of the Tri-Cities, snow. Right now, we were just short of setting a new all-time record for snow in a season that's held steady, get this, for 60 years. And it's looking very likely like we will surpass that total. Storm Tracker Mike McCabe live in the studio with our first look at weather. Mike, it's like the Energizer Bunny. It keeps going and going and going. Old man winter won't quit.
That is for sure. That's a good way to sum it up, Tom, for sure. It has been something else. That snow continues for us this afternoon and will continue into the evening hours, where we do have a winter weather advisory through 4 a.m. and we could see an additional 2 inches this evening. Winds out of the west, out of the northwest at 17 miles per hour. So on top of the snow that we've had, we are also talking about the potential for blowing and drifting snow, and we've already seen that in areas out there this evening. This system obviously lifting farther north than anticipated and continues through tonight. Now coming up, we're going to take a look at our pinpoint radar and show you that right now we have a little bit of a lull in the action, but more on the way, and then what we can expect heading into the rest of the week. Lots to talk about. It boggles my mind. I'll have all the details coming up for you in just a few minutes. Tom, back to you.
Mike, thank you very much. It's a lot to take in. This just into our newsroom. School districts across the Tri-Cities have already declared that there will be no school tomorrow. Now, we're looking at about a dozen schools so far. This list is going to continue to grow, but you can see the big three on there: Kennewick, Pasco, Richland, all closed tomorrow. You can see Calvary, St. Joseph's School, Bethlehem Lutheran. This list, again, you can be found at our website, KEPRTV.com. We also try to update our Facebook page as much as possible, so you can go there for the latest on the closings as well. Now, all the snow is wreaking havoc on the roadways. Our reporters went from one crash to the next today. Nicole Fierro live with an update on conditions we're seeing tonight. Nicole?
Tom, the flakes are just flying down still even at this time, making it hard for plow trucks to keep up. Earlier today, we saw a truck go by, then right before you know it, the ground's covered in white again. And there's a lot of ground here in the Tri-Cities that's packed with snow. I'm in a parking lot right here in Pasco now, and if you take a look down at my legs, you can see my ankles are covered in snow. It's creeping up into my calves even, and this is the situation on a lot of side streets across the Tri-Cities. Main roads are getting a bit better, but we still saw a lot of accidents today. Take a look at some of this video from us driving earlier on Clearwater Avenue. Just minutes after getting on the road, we saw a car spin out right in front of us and get stuck for a good amount of time. They needed other people to help them actually get out, and that was one of over 6 accidents in Kennewick that police responded to. On top of that, Pasco and Richland say they've been packed with accidents as well, and the same situation on our highways. Troopers say with the chaos that's coming from this snow, you cannot go the speed limit. You definitely need to slow down. Many officials even say if you could stay inside and off the roads, that's your best bet. But if you do have to go out, decrease your speed, increase your following distance, and hopefully everyone stays safe tonight. We'll continue our coverage all night and in the morning as well to give you the latest updates on these winter conditions. Live in Pasco, Nicole Fierro, Action News.
Nicole, thank you very much. Also, just into our newsroom this afternoon, the Washington State Department of Transportation has shut down Interstate 82 from milepost 114, so basically from the Tri-Cities, all the way to milepost 131. That's into Oregon until further notice. And this is video from the interstate less than an hour ago. The blowing snow and drifts along the interstate are causing major trouble, and at this point, it's just safer to shut it down. We understand there is also a major pileup of vehicles after a massive crash just on the Washington side of the border. WashDOT would like to remind drivers that the weather can change at any time. So for more information on travel conditions, it's important to call 511. And if you can, again, stay home. Well, it was a busy day for State Patrol and towing companies responding to all of the slipping and sliding on the roads. Hannah Vogel talks to one tow truck company who says today was one for the books.
I'm busy pretty much throughout the year, but today was extremely busy. Victor Barra works for Clearwater Collision and Towing. I followed him around Tuesday morning as he recovered at least 3 cars from snowbanks off the freeway. This was one example. The person driving the car said she stepped on the brakes and spun out of control. The 2 other people who Victor towed said the same thing.
I'd pick one out, they'd send me to the next one and just go help that one, I'll go help that one. It was one after the other. Everybody was facing in the opposite direction or in between the freeways or off the freeway into a fence.
Even State Patrol tells Action News 240 was difficult to drive on.
We probably investigated 15 to 20 collisions just in that area alone.
Troopers say the problem is people are driving too fast.
The biggest secret to driving in these conditions is to slow down. You may only be able to drive 30 to 40 miles an hour in a 70-mile-an-hour zone. That's okay. That's what all the state troopers were doing this morning.
But if you do slide off the road, call 911.
More than likely, we're going to have to call a tow truck to get your car out, and we're probably going to have to block one lane of the highway. So it does take some responsibility and some emergency personnel to get you unstuck and get you off of the highway.
That's why Victor says to just stay calm and collected.
Don't press the gas all of a sudden, don't press the brake all of a sudden, don't use cruise control, just drive safe and don't tailgate nobody because you never know how they're going to stop.
In Tri-Cities, Hannah Vogel, Action News.
Now, troopers also say to move over to the opposite lane and give crash responders enough room to clean up. And for those of you still in need of getting around, Ben Franklin transit buses are still up and running. You can call the number shown right there at the bottom of your screen for more information on the routes and the times, or head to our website, KEPRTV.com. They asked us to pass that message along to you. Now, many of you have reached out to us with frustration over the situation on our roads, especially in your very own neighborhoods. I live in Kennewick. Trust me, I get it. Well, we've been tracking road crews throughout the Tri-Cities. They tell us they're doing all they can. Now, this video is out of Pasco, but in all of our towns, those main roads will receive the most attention, okay? So keep that in mind, followed by our school zones. Now, we learned today in both Richland and Pasco, and my wife saw this in Kennewick, the cities are deploying even more staff and equipment. Backhoes, tractors are out there joining the push to clear neighborhoods. But city officials say it will only help so much. The snow just hasn't let up enough for crews to make even a dent in this, and once they clear one main road, it seems like it's covered in snow once again. Now, the snow and winter weather has kept many people busy trying to fight it, and that's especially true for cattle ranchers because many of them right now are smack dab in the middle of their calving season. Out of the BB Cattle Company near Connell, the Bennett family checks their herds every couple of hours to see if they have any new calves in the ground. The family also keeps an eye on weather conditions. Now, Becca uses the because they make a big impact on their decisions when it comes to caring for them, whether it's putting more straw bedding out or bringing the newborns inside.
When it's really cold, like last week when it was in those negative temperatures at night, we will go out and we'll check through the night, and if they're born, and especially in that cold temperature, we'll bring them in and make sure they get dried off and warm and some colostrum, and then take them back to their mothers the next morning.
And more negative temperatures are coming. Tonight at 11, we'll take a closer look at the BB Cattle Company and how this winter has really impacted them. The snow is making it difficult for many workers, especially the men and women delivering your mail. Action News took a trek down Pasco Road with a local mail carrier today. Her difficulties started even before stepping out of her car. She says parking's nearly impossible on some of these side streets right now, and it's even difficult to get around with chains. The snowpack along sidewalks and on mailboxes add to this problem, so carriers are asking for your help to get to you faster.
We are really trying hard to get the mail to these people and trying to get it to everybody and not miss anybody, so it's really stressful when we can't get to a box, and we're really trying to give everybody good service, so it'd be great if they could just help us out a little bit.
And to do that, you need to try to clear your mailbox of any snow. Mail carriers say uncovering your mailbox is essential. They also greatly appreciate if you can shovel your entryway and sidewalks. And if you're already outside cleaning off your mailbox, it would be a very good idea to clear off a fire hydrant if that is also nearby. Go ahead and clear that out too. It may be cold and snowing, but firefighters are still out there fighting fires. We heard one just moments ago. All right, Sue Holloway, we're trying hard to mail. Joining me now, however, is Elise Haas. She is on the phone. She has been traveling in Richland, so we're going to continue our team coverage right now. And Elise, tell us what you saw out there today.
Well, Tom, I have been out. I went out earlier this morning to check on the roads from Richland to Pasco, and what I saw this morning was, snow cover throughout the Tri-Cities. So you can't see the lines of any of the roads. However, some of the arterials, that's where you had at least one lane that was open. Now that it's been snowing all day, I went back out and ventured into this. I got stuck in my parking lot, and I also got stuck getting back into another parking lot. So that was probably the hardest part of my trip. But what I'll tell you is that the plows are still out in Richland. Keene Road has just been plowed. 182 has just been plowed, and so is Queensgate. However, once you start getting on to those entrance and exit ramps, that's where you start getting that slippery feeling, losing a little bit of confidence on the road.
And
I will say that.
I'm sorry. I'm curious, did you see anybody in ditches, any crashes, and how fast were you going compared to the rest of the vehicles on the road?
So I did not see any collisions or anybody sliding off the road, that thankfully. But we were probably going around 30 miles an hour and feeling okay. But the thing is, so we see the pavement, but it really is just a false sense of security. Once we see that pavement, we get excited. We feel like, oh, we're fine, we got this, after we just come down from Badger Mountain. And really, though, that's when it starts getting slick, because that's right where the ice is, and, the cars, no car can stop better than any other on ice.
Okay, Elise Haas reporting from Richland. Elise, thank you very much. We appreciate it. Yeah, it bears in mind you need to be careful out there. We're going to switch gears now and cover other news. The two men accused of killing a Pasco man on New Year's Eve returned to court today. Simeon Howard and Nathaniel Thompson are the two murder suspects accused of gunning down a Pasco man in the middle of the night. A judge set the trial for March. Howard is charged with premeditated first-degree murder, drive-by shooting, and first-degree unlawful possession of a 9mm gun. Thompson is charged with premeditated first-degree murder, first-degree conspiracy to commit murder, and drive-by shooting. Both Howard and Thompson will appear again in court in February. Well, President Obama is set to give his farewell speech today in Chicago. We take you to the scene for the latest on his goodbye. And Tuesday means it's nearly time for Storm Tracker Jay Frank's Will It Work? Today, he tests out our product aimed at helping out those that struggle with vision. That's still to come here on Action News.